Alright guys, welcome back. So I have finished the rendering, not all finished, but 120, 112 frames, so good enough. I'm going to read that into Nuke, just going to be particle simulation. I open that, and press one button to, oh, my viewer is here. Press one button to view it. Take a look. Okay, so that's the particle we have. Let's see, it grows out and starts to, swirling around of the body, looking pretty nice. Something I can change here in compositing is probably I'm gonna use gray just to bring up the garment a little bit to have it look brighter, and I can also bring some of the saturation back by using a hue shift actually. The hue shift allows me to change the overall saturation to something maybe just a little bit higher. So as you can see, the colors now are more vibrant. Okay. Turn on the overlay. Forget what button it is. Anyway, so now I have a brighter result. I can change other things here, like maybe give it more contrast, right? So let me create a color lookup. Color lookup. This is basically the curve, so I'm going to use the master here and drag this Control Alt click, drag it down, Control Alt click to create another dot and drag it up. So I have a little bit more contrast. And maybe after that, I probably don't want that much saturation anymore, so let me double click on hue shift and drag down the saturation. It's not doing much. So I probably need another one, so use hue shifts and lower down the saturation after that. Okay, it's just a little bit. Okay, now we do have motion blur applied on the particles, but they probably are looking like, still I can see particles looking like they're a little bit too noisy here. Of course, my render quality was actually not high enough maybe, but I can give it a little bit more motion blur here inside of Nuke. So motion blur right away, and motion blur will allow me to have motion blur on those vertices. As you can see now, that's without it, that's with motion blur. Okay, so basically it's calculating now the blurring, right? And you can change the shutter sample to 4 if you want more blur, or let's try 10. That's gonna create a lot of blur, or maybe just 2 to get lesser blur here. 1 is really small, 1.5. Right. Maybe 2 is a good value here. I like that blurry result. It will still look good. You can still feel the particle flowing around. It's just more fluid now because of the motion blur applied on it. Alright, so I think that's pretty much all I want to go over. Compositing will be something maybe we can talk about more about what do we do with these guys. I already have dropped down a lot of nodes. That's not a lot of nodes, just a few nodes. But as you can see, compositing can bring up the quality a lot, right? So if you look at the before, that's before, and after is this. So you can really see a huge boost on the vibrant color, the motion blur, and all those kind of like useful things to really bring up the quality of the render. Again, there are a lot of things we can do with it, but for now that's all I want to talk about. And if you're happy with the result, you can press W button after the motion blur to create a red node, and you can use this to red out the movie. Let's call it particles.mov and save it. It will be able to recognize you want to export MOVs, and you can just change the some of the MOV settings. If you click on render, it will ask you what render frame you want to go for, and you can just press OK, I guess. Oftentimes in Nuke you don't really do MOV, you just export again the frames, and you use eventually Premiere or Final Cut to do the final editing. So it's not really necessary that you do it here inside of Nuke, because Nuke is more like, you know, tweaking of the color for every individual shot, and eventually the export will be done after this, and you go for some other packages to do the final editing. Alright, so I don't know why VLC is doing this weird thing, but as you can see, this is the render result of our final particle, right? You can use this kind of like effect on any other moving object to give you this really nice dust kind of like trail effect on them, and have it swirling on it. You can convert those guys into this, and it's gonna look really nice. Okay, so I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.